Hey guys, I'm Brandon with BustinLipsfishing. Couldn't get it on the ice any this week. It's all brown and wet because it rained a lot the other week, so there's standing water on top of the ice. And that's not good for ice fishing. And today's video, I decided to talk a little bit about trout fishing. It's kind of what I like to do. It's fun, peaceful, and quiet, scenic. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the rods, reels, lures, tactics, places I go to trout fish, and that's what's in store. Stay tuned. Thanks, guys. Alright, first off, this is going to be my crick fishing rod. It's a 5'6" light action pole. So it's nice and short so you can accurately cast and walk through the cricks and not run into too many trees with problems. The reel is a Cardinal, I think it's a 300 UI light spinning rod by Bua Garcia. It's nice, accurate, small. You're not going to need anything too big for these trout. You can pretty much get on top of them when you're crick fishing. So for the rig, I have a weight. This is going to be on the ground. So it's about 2 feet from the whatever you're using. If you're going to use bait like this or a worm, so this will float to the top like that. Fish will eat it and see what's going on. So that's what I got for a crick fishing pole and rod and reel. If I'm going to be fishing in a lake, I'll use pretty much the same setup, the same rod. You can go heavier, lighter. Yeah, you can use pretty much whatever pole you want to in a lake. Also, there's fly rods out there. I picked some up at garage sales. I have 3 or 4 of them, and I recently just purchased one online, a nice one, so I can get started doing that. Don't know too much about fly fishing, but I'm gonna start trying to get into it myself. Alright, so as for the line I use on this pole right here, I have 4-pound test. You don't need anything too heavy. And then for my fly rod, I'm gonna have number 5 line. You can look that up online if you need to know what type of line you think is going to work best. So I'll be fishing trout, bass, whatever else with that line, so that's why I have such heavy fly line. Alright, as for the baits, tackle, whatever I use, I use MEP spinners every once in a while on cricks or the big lakes. I'll use flies with the fly rod. I'll use a Berkeley Gold, what's it called? A trout worm, those little pink worms, they seem to work pretty nice. There's also the Berkeley power bait, my go-to bait when fishing stock trout in like stocked lakes or cricks or whatever they are in. And also just the plain simple go-to night crawler, that always works. So when fishing colors, it seems to be a factor on the lures you use. So if it's not biting a bait people always tell you to go to, change up the color, those probably start biting. When I fish power bait in the cricks for the stock trout, I'll use a pink one, an orange, just enough to cover the hook. I have 3 here. It makes it better to float in the water so the fish can see it. With the weight, it'll float. So that always gets it right where the fish are, right in front of their nose. You can cast out in front of them and just slowly reel it in towards them, bring it in front of their face. That helps. And then when I'm fishing worms and night crawlers, I'll use the same setup. I have, we always buy these like 10 size snail hooks. So we'll hook that up, that's what's on this pole right here. We'll hook it up to a swivel. And then we'll tie an extra hook to the other side, kind of like a worm harness. So there's 2 hooks on both sides, so if the fish decides it wants to bite the side of the tail only, you still get it with that. So that's my tip to you if you're going to use a worm. Try to hook it on both sides of the tail and head. Also, one more thing when fishing worms, they have this little tool called a worm blower. It's got a little needle, then a little bottle, so you can pump out the air into the worms. You slip it in the worm, press it up, the worm will inflate a little bit, and that'll help kind of like these float to the top. The worm will start floating to the top, get off the bottom, so the trout will see it a little bit more easy. I'll use that when I'm fishing cricks, lakes, anything else. I use worms more often on in lakes where I can't see the fish. One more thing on the power bait, this is what it comes in, what it looks like. There are these little bowls like that. And when I'm fishing it, I always like to have at least one scented, one garlic scent, and then the other one doesn't really matter. So I'd go with the garlic scent. I think it helps a lot. I remember when I fished this. So as for the tactic when you're casting and trying to catch the fish, I normally cast upstream, let the bait flow down, like if it's a creek, so flow down the rocks and into the pool, because normally trout will be waiting, looking up at the creek, seeing what's happening. They'll wait, if they like something that floats down, they'll go ahead and have a bite. That's how I get most of my bites, pretty simple that way. Or if you see them in a big pool, cast way up there, out of the way of any trout so you don't spook them. Just reel it in front of their face. They seem to go after it that way. Same with any lures. If you're going to use a little jig, cast way up there, don't scare anything, jig in front of their face, try to get a bite. Lake fishing is pretty similar, so cast upstream if there's any moving water, otherwise straight out of work, wherever you want to cast the lure. And until it has a tight line, the tip, nothing's moving, so that way you can just tell if you have a bite, if something's pecking on the other end. If it does, pick it up, feel for the fish, make sure he has it in his mouth, jerk, reel the fish in. I always use nets when I'm trout fishing, that way they don't get hurt. I heard also that it's probably good for the fish that you wet your hands before touching them, keeps the slime coat on them. They're pretty, in my opinion, they're pretty hardy, but I know some that aren't too, so just protection for the fish. That's basically all I do. We go trout fishing, catch limits, just since it pays off, make sure the fish takes the bait fully in its mouth, so you're not just ripping it out when you're sight fishing. Make sure he has the bait and just run with it, have you can get a good hook set. Also, I mean, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos, and stay awesome. Thanks, guys.